Hello, everybody. We are live. I hope you guys are here and having a good day. Today's Thursday. Some of you might have this as a Friday, right? And so let's go ahead and start. Today, it's going to be a discussion of Audio Room Sisters and how we met and how amazing she is all the way from our sisters on another continent today. So we're going to get to know her. I hope you are watching. If live, if not, we will be team replay. But here is my intro. Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast, where we explore a diverse set of skills that can be applied across various industries and professions. Each episode will deep dive into the world of transferable skills, discussing topics like communication, problem solving, critical thinking, and more. Join us as we speak with experts in different fields and share stories of individuals who have successfully transferred their skills from one industry to another. Whether you're a recent grad, a mid-career professional, or someone looking to make a career change, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's discover how you can leverage your existing skills to excel in any industry. Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast. This is your host, Dr. Leland, a serial educator, an opportunities designer, and a compassionate leader. Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Okay, first of all, hold on one second. I'm going to show something. This is a shirt that I created. And guess who's the artist? You guys know her. She created this art, and I love her. Natalie, if you're watching, I hope you are, sister. I made her art into a shirt, and I have another surprise for her that maybe we can all support in Amazon soon. Maybe. I don't know if it's going to go through, but this is a shirt that I created for our sisterhood. Look how pretty that is. And I'll share her art later and how amazing she is. And I wanted, when I saw it, there's a whole bunch of sisters. I immediately was like magnet for me. And I'm like, I want that into a shirt. I want that into a cup. I want that into a notebook. I want that into a sticker. Anyway, because if you don't know, I'm an only child. My husband is only an only child. So our kids, our poor children, don't have aunts and uncles. So if I call you a sister, you're responsible for my kids now too. Surprise! You got 2 more kids here in the USA in San Diego. Anyway, I thought it was beautiful. So one more time. Look at that. Right? It's sisters. Like, look at that. Anyway, I'm just adoring that. I wanted to also give you guys, I do my shout outs. Yesterday was very emotional for me. Okay, so I didn't do a shout out then, but I'm going to do my shout out as usual. If I see you in there's a couple more people that I want to do a shout out actually that I didn't add in there because I didn't get a chance. Just so you guys know, I do have a full-time job and a part-time job. I teach full-time, and I also am a director, and I also am teaching at another university. So I am quite busy, but I never am busy to be with my brothers and sisters, to include you guys on anything that I do in terms of engagement. It's really important. Reciprocity is really important for me. So if I sometimes don't engage in you because I'm in between whatever problem I have to fix for my full time job. But I hope you guys are seeing this. Okay. And I'm going to remove our guest for now because she's going to come on soon. Samantha, that's my sister. If you guys have not been connected with her, she's in the Philippines. Nicole and I are partnering up with the 50 Inspirational Connections. I hope that you guys are going to apply, nominate. I'm nominating whoever's listening here. What it is a project you guys are curious. There's really three process. First one is you have to watch the video on YouTube so you fully understand what the project means. It's 17 minutes of your life. And I promise you, we're trying not to be boring. Okay. The second one is to think about the legacy and the impact that you're trying to leave your family. Right. I've asked this question in a couple of my podcasts now. Like if this is your last day and you have, your great grandkids is going to see what does my grandma or great grandma or great grandpa have done in the past. And this is more of almost like a memoir kind of thing. Um, you have only 5 minutes left in your life. What kind of message are you sending out to the world about your story? Because each and every one of us have a very heartfelt stories, lots, right? But if there's one story that you would love to share out there in the world to make an impact, because your story could inspire other people, you just don't know. And I've been asked, well, I'm kind of boring. I don't have a really story. It's just a family typical thing. I'm sure if you're breathing, right, you have gone through an adversity. Think about Kung Fu Panda. If you have not watched it, you have to watch it. I know it's cartoon. Have kids, okay? Think about Kung Fu Panda, where he was adopted. His dad is a noodle maker. He's a panda. His dad is a duck. I mean, hello, right? But he found out that, he's this mighty person. And he's like, I'm just an ordinary noodle guy. I don't even know half the things you're talking about. But he went through this journey as if you're the hero's journey. This project is for you to be that hero of your own life. Share your story, right? Share your adversity. Tell the world how you are trying to live this life that hoping to inspire others. Show your compassion, show your love, right? Show your purpose. If you haven't found it, maybe this time you will find it. The second part of that is the application, which is 5 or 6 questions, right? I'm not really asking for an essay. I'm asking for why, right? I want to get to know you why and quick. The third one is you have to have the 5-minute video. So even if you apply, but you don't have the video, I can't put you in because the video is going to be on my website. It's going to be blasted. It's going to be on my global summit coming up in October. You're also going to be more likely probably be interviewed as a panel couple of times once we are done with it, and you have about 29 days I believe left to do this. So this is your chance to shine bright like a diamond, right? And why wouldn't I use my platform in 6 continents and 70 plus nations, right, to highlight you as the king and queen of the day? I don't know if you're excited, but I'm super excited to get to know you guys. I've had about almost 10 applications now, so getting there. Now, Sia, if you want to do anything with digital content or production and things like that, hook up my sister, call her, tell her CJ sent you. Okay. Dr. Noopy, hello, my sister in London. She's funny, hilarious. I love her F list. If you're not connected with her, she has a show at 12, okay? At 12 p.m. PST in, I think it's Monday. Sia has a lot of shows. So you just ring her bell and then you'll figure out when her show is going to be. Marilyn, my sister from Singapore, she does a lot of consulting. She does a lot of collaboration, and she also has a live stream as well. I don't know her live stream schedule, but she does. Ring her bell, guys. Stephanie Delfonso, my calm sister, she puts me into calm with her book. I've been reading your book over and over on certain areas to kind of get through that for me, helping me. Sister Christine is an educator. Please go ahead and ring her bell as well. And she's lovely. She's very engaged in her community. And she is going to have a book soon that's going to revolutionize support system for teachers out there all over the world. Kristen is another educator. And if you haven't connected with her, she's also helping her community. The people that I'm highlighting here are the people that I know that I have coffee chats with, and also have dealt with them. Michelle's been my student since 2015 on her master's for public health, and we have connected and we're sisters. She has gone through a lot in her life, and she is a transformational coach. And please go ahead and connect with her as well. Christian is my 2D animator. You guys saw my little animation. Christian made that. So if you need that for your business or for your personal needs, go ahead and hook up our brother here, Christian. He's in Africa and he's amazing. I have dealt with him personally. Timothy, down under brother. Oh, please pray for our brothers and sisters in Guam. They still don't have any electricity, and some of them are still flooded. Please, he's not in Guam, but he is in down under brother in Australia, I believe. And so make sure to pray for them. They just had an earthquake as well. So I know he said he was okay, but I'm sure we have friends from there. Mr. O is going to be on my podcast soon. And he's also in Africa and he is doing web development. Very honest person. I have a project going out with him right now, too. So please ring his bell. Susanna Dawn, another sister, very creative, love her story. Her and Stephen Ing is going to be on my audio. I have a live Wednesday and Thursday, 9 a.m. PST. But on every Friday, there's an audio that goes out. And that audio is the one that goes to 6 continents and 70 nations and countries. And that's the one that's highlighted with all the magazines out there, including LA Weekly. So she will be, and Stephen will be on the audio on Friday this week. Paul has a lot of audio room. He has a supportive community. He supports everyone. He's amazing young gentleman for sure. And Peter Quayle, CEO of the year for sure. Lots of knowledge on leadership. So go ahead and connect with him. Janice is a Tossie brand pillow. If you haven't connected with Janice and know her story, you should. And the pillowcase, you got to buy it for sure. I have one too. Deborah is my sister from another mother. Very great with energy with Lonnie Ray. Okay. These sisters gives me energy all the time. And then of course, Mike, happy birthday, Mike. It's birthday yesterday. If you know anything about our groups called the Hounds, go ahead and DM Mike and said, hey, CJ sent me. I want to know more about what you guys are doing. And then, of course, my sister Raquel, also in the Hounds, and she also has a show on Saturday. And Miss Lachelle, Supermom, she has 15 kids. Yeah, I didn't stutter. 1-5, okay? She's Supermom for a reason, and I love her. And I love her knowledge, and I love her wisdom. If you don't know her story, get to know her. Michael Gale, the same thing. You want to go outdoors, you want to be healthy. That's the brother you want to go for. Donald Cohen. I mean, come on. If you don't know Donald, I don't know what rock you're under, but he has a show at 8 a.m. PST my time. And then Johanna Ray, my sister who does painting, amazing painting, right? Same thing for Natalie. Natalie, okay, this one right here. See this? She did this, okay? But I created the shirt. I create a lot of things. I teach how to do it too, just FYI. And then, of course, Catherine's going to be on my show as well coming up. Get to know her story. And Jackie, you've heard Jackie. She's in South Africa. She went from waitressing, losing her job to making 6 figures. If you don't know, it's on my YouTube and how she did it. Look at this in real life. That's Janice on the left side, the Tazi brand, and Susanna. I'm so jealous. One of these days, I'm going to meet you guys, sisters. Soaring Profits, I think they have more than 18 followers now for sure. And they're actually kind of funny and entertaining. So if you guys haven't known, go for that. Dale, I'm going to be on his show right after this one. Okay. So ring his bell so you'll see me there as well. And then Wilson does a good job on designing, marketing, and stuff like that. Maureen, she has a June 14 mompreneurs, or I think it's more of like stay-at-home mom, but you are having a business. Maureen is the gal that you want to talk on how she is leveling up her community. And without further ado, henna. If you have not connected with this sister, please do. All right. So that is it for now. And are you guys ready? I mean, are you ready? Is my guest ready? Hello, sister. Tell us, um, where are you doing live right now?
Hello, Constance. Hope so you're doing well. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm live from Pakistan, Islamabad.
Ooh, Pakistan. What time is it now?
It is 9:15 p.m.
Oh, dedicated. I tell ya, 9:15 p.m., 9:15 a.m. here. So
Oh, wow.
welcome. Oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and jump right into my questions, okay? The first question really I have is, how did we meet?
Mm.
Hmm.
Thank you
Well,
so much for this interesting question. And
yeah.
what is today's topic?
Emotional intelligence.
So it is an emotional connection. So basically, Constance and I have an emotional connection. And that was built. I did not see her, she did not see me, but this connection built on some audio live. One day, when I was listening to the story of Dr. Constance on some audio live, I was about to speak in the live and I just forgot to speak in the live because, her story made me so empathizing. I was just crying after listening to her story because, I felt a lot. I have four sisters and one brother. So when I saw that she's not having any sister, uh, although she has sisters from other moms, but from the same mom. So and her tone of the voice, tonality, and the you can say the pain she was telling the story with. I could not resist myself, and I texted her at LinkedIn, "Dear Constance, you are my sister now onwards. And we are just like blood sisters. You are my fifth sister." And later on, we connected. And, this is the journey, how we started talking to each other and how we love each other now. And, and very important thing, when I empathized and when I built the connection with her vibes, I forgot to speak in the live audio live that day. This is how emotional connections work.
Yeah, and I think I was crying in that audio event.
Yeah, that's why I was crying.
Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
because I just realized, it's lonely not to have sisters. I remember growing up, like everyone was always bullying me because I didn't have any mom and dad, and I had anger issues. So I would literally go to school, come home with a black eye, and my teachers were nuns. Okay, they were so strict. Like you talk wrong, you get eraser just boom on your face. And if your nails are long, if your earrings are long, if your socks is not wide and it's not ruffled, like I mean, the rules was just, and I didn't care. I would come home and my uniform was white. I would look like I was wrestling a pig in the mud because I was punching boys. Like I had so much anger. And the boys was so scared of me because if they say something, I just start swinging. And I'm small and I don't care. I will hit. And I had so much anger because people just bully like, "Oh, no one loves you and no one cares about you." But that's probably why you want to be number one all the time because you think you're all that. Kids are mean when they're, and so I don't do well with boards at that time. So I just punch. Like I get in trouble. I'm in the principal's office when I was in elementary. And my grandma was best friend with the principal. So that's how I would get saved. And my grandma's like, you can't be a career criminal. Like you can't just punch boys and girls just because. And I would start swinging dustpans and they didn't understand, but I had so much anger and pain because I always felt like, why am I even born? Why am I being here? No one even cares. No one, my parents even dumped me. Like, why? And I would cry And at that moment when they're talking, and I think Mary Baker at that time was like, you are loved, we see you. And I get so emotional because love is something that's hard for me. Oh my gosh. Woo,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Come
cry.
on, come on, come on, come on, come
Woo,
on.
yeah. Because it's a word that was so foreign to me.
Yeah.
And when you have your own children, you're like, wow, how could a mom abandon a child? It was too much.
Oh,
It
I'm
was
so
just
sorry
too
for
much.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like,
Uh,
oh my, I can't believe. And then when you reach out, and then I'm like, okay, one person really reached my heart that day. And actually, I think Paul gave me his cell phone. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm
oh,
fine,
I'm so
but
sorry.
yeah, because it's so weird because I'm a very private person, but somehow I'm like letting all go my privacy to everyone. Oh my God. But it was very emotional for me, and it gave me an understanding of why I love education so much.
It
And because
is.
our culture, you need to be educated. That's really, there's no buts, ifs, nothing, and if you're like not
Hmm.
100% all the time, then you're stupid. And that
Yeah.
that feeling of you have to always be number one. And it took me a
Mhm.
while to not compete with people and to just compete with myself and do my own thing.
Mhm.
It took me until college till I did that. And even when I got my doctorate at 32, I was sitting and bawling and crying. And my daughters were so little at that time. And they're like, Mom, why are you crying? I said, I'm a failure. And they looked at me and they started like really having concern. They're like, you failed a class, Mom? How? You never,
Oh,
you do your homework all the time. I see, because I share my grades with them, and I told them how important grades are. And I'm like, no, I didn't fail the class. I'm a failure because I became a doctor too old. I was supposed to be a doctor at 30, and now I'm 32. And my daughter started busting out laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? She goes, Mom, you're still too young. It's
come
fine.
on. Yeah.
But in my head, I was a failure because I did it 2 years later. But I almost died anyway in 2011 while doing my dissertation because of cancer. I had ovarian cancer. And they were like, Mom, you're fine. You're already here. And for me to learn that from like a 5 year old at that time was like,
Yeah.
CJ, something's wrong with you. You need to be grateful. That's why I'm always grateful for the things I have and don't have. I don't have cancer, not anymore, knock on wood. And I have a beautiful family. Like, what am I
Yeah.
complaining, you know? And
Yeah.
so that's why I'm like, man. And so when you reach out, I really love that. I really appreciated that. And it came from the heart. And we just keep talking and doing something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my next question is about you. Think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
Yeah. It is another question of emotions. You know, just like you, I used to think about myself. Why are people, encouraged or discouraged on grades? In Asia, there's a culture, who secures good grades. He's always appreciated. And for your knowledge, my both parents were from educational background. My father was from education, my mother was teaching at the college, and at that time she used to teach at the school. She used to tell us that others teacher daughter and son has this much good grades and you're not having. So that comparison, always compelled me that there should be a system where nobody is, measured on the grades, when where the nobody is respected on the grades, because in private gatherings, in family gatherings, in any marriages and wedding ceremonies, um, parents used to talk about the grades and uh, like many other things, but the grades were the most important things. And I always used to skip that meeting because of my bad grades. And I one thing very interesting. I used to think about myself. I had a strong belief about myself that I'm pretty much able. I am very, talented. And people did not used to think me a talented girl. You know, few, they know me, they knew me, and, few who don't understand me, they used to take me as, an average girl. So the thing between the grades and non-grades person, the students. There was a connection of emotions. I used to hurt myself many a time, but I was feeling satisfied that I have learned many things. I used to think that I'm better than these great girls, you know.
Yeah.
Now I feel the same. I learned from my environment. I learned from culture. I learned from the mistakes. I made a bundle of mistakes and the blunders. I was I cannot tell you what I was among my all sisters and brothers. um, all the time naughty, all the time making adventures, doing blunders. I was not having a good image in front of my mom. She used to sometimes criticize me, and I used to say, "Hey mom, you don't know about me. It's okay, you know." Now she acknowledges me. Now she knows me, what I was, in fact. So this is a story. I had a willpower. I belong to a very underprivileged area. Uh, and from that area, moving to a big city like capital and Islamabad, and then moving to internationally, I speak at different events. I train people internationally at different countries of the world. This is a great recognition for me, at least, that I made a struggle on my beliefs and on my willpower only. Like, this was Hina 20 years ago, and now this is Hina in front of you.
Amazing. I love it. And I think what we have in common is the drive,
Yeah.
right? Like we know that our culture is so into one thing. There, by the way, guys, okay, I want to just take this moment. Korean, there's a lot of Korean young adults that kill themselves right now to be perfect, right? Because in Asian cultures, like I had a classmate who jumped off when I was in college on our school because she got a B minus, and her parents would beat her up if she got a B, less than an A minus. Because in our culture, A minus, you're an F. And my kids actually laughed at me because their classmates are like, "Oh my god, I got a C plus," and my daughters are like, "Your parents are okay with that?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is great. I got like a C plus. I usually get straight D's." And my daughter's is like, "No, A minus. My mom will have panic attacks. Like she doesn't have to say it." I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean? Did you talk to your teacher? What happened?" So now I'm so not into grades anymore, especially what happened to my oldest, with 2 years ago. And um, grades is not everything. Money is not everything. Money, I'm not saying money's evil, all this, because it's just a tool, right? It's a tool. I think money, when you have money, it exposes who you are as a person.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I
When
agree.
I've seen so many rich friends and so many rich people, it exposes them. And I think God did not give me money because I would be gone. It would be gone. I'd be like, okay, we need to get this education. We need to get this, like that's my goal. It's like, I want to be the Netflix of education. I want education to
Constance,
be affordable, right?
Constance, it is not only money.
Mm,
It is every status which you achieve tells much about you when you go into that particular time, that particular power. Then you tell about yourself. Then you depict yourself. Then you depict your brought up. Then you depict your habits and culture and what is your mindset and everything. So I think not only money. I've seen many of the people, they get some good designations in the organization. Then they start showing up what they are, in fact. So it is not only money, I think.
true. Now, how does emotional intelligence contribute to effective leadership in global business environments? You talked about, training in the global scale. Can you talk a little bit about emotional intelligence and effective leadership?
Okay. Uh, so there are two things in your question, to compound things.
Yep.
One is emotional intelligence, and the other is effective leadership in the global era.
Yeah.
So, starting from the emotional intelligence, there's a myth that emotional intelligence is to control your emotions. Emotional intelligence is to control yourself and not expressing in front of others. and not expressing when you're feeling something and you're not expressing it. This is emotional intelligence. In fact, emotional intelligence starts from self awareness. You know, if you start understanding yourself, if you know about yourself completely, then you manage yourself. And, there's a step by step process. At the initial stage of emotional intelligence, you start knowing about yourself, then you start managing yourself, and then you start regulating yourself, right? And then there comes empathy. If you understand yourself, look at the example. How could I understand you if I could not understand myself? How could I have been in the empathy? How could I empathize you that day if I would not understand myself, if I would not have feelings, I would not have thoughts, and I would not have emotions? How could have? So then the third step comes the empathy. And after empathy, there are social skills. So starting from self, leading towards others and society. So you can say, if you don't know about yourself, you cannot be emotionally intelligent. If you cannot empathize, you cannot be emotionally intelligent. If you cannot have social skills, and if you cannot interact with the people productively, if you cannot network well, you cannot be emotionally intelligent. If you've seen, um, uh, we many of our friends, and we connect to many people, we have a bundle of networks. And if you see, very few of those network people, they appeal us, they connect the vibes with us, and we connect to them. All other are screened. This is because of emotions and connections and vibes and productivity and emotional intelligence. If you've seen, there's an example, in the organizations. Of course, when there are humans, there are errors. And when you commit a mistake, um, look at yourself. How you think, how you feel, how your emotions are on that mistake, right? So if you're feeling good, if you're feeling to learn, if you're thinking positive and optimistic, that you're grabbing something from this mistake, and if you're controlling yourself on that mistake, and you um, correct yourself on that mistake, and due to your mistake, if you have harmed any other body, so you go to that and convert your mistake into an opportunity. That's the
Mhm.
emotional intelligence. That's the
Oh,
emotional intelligence.
I love that. You're taking the SWOT analysis into integrating it into that. That is so amazing. I can see what you're doing. And I'm glad you said that, because knowing yourself, getting to really know yourself. When people are like, get to know yourself, and you're like, wait, what? That's kind of weird. It is weird for some people, because we're always trying to learn about other people and how you can just take up a skill and do this work, right? It's so weird trying to learn from other people so that you could internalize that learning to understand yourself better. And I actually created a class called Managing Your Boss. And people are like, managing your boss. I'm like, Harvard does it. Harvard sells it for 5 to 10 grand, by the way. Okay. I'm selling it
Mm,
for $500. But anyway, like, because I
yeah,
want to level up the world. But
yeah.
with that emotional intelligence and effective leadership, from all
Mm,
my research and from all my experiences, especially when it comes to emotional intelligence, I want to add to what you're saying about knowing yourself. To get to know yourself, you do need that SWOT analysis. You do need to know what your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. But emotional intelligence is super crucial for leadership, because it enhances you as a leader, your ability to not only connect with your people, but influence your team members, right? How do you influence? You need to build trust. You need to create a
mm,
positive work environment, right? And for
yeah.
me, self awareness. It enables you
Hmm.
to recognize how to understand your own emotions if
Yeah.
you're angry, if you're sad, if you're mad, right? And your strength on how to cope with that conflict. Conflict, by the way, is not a bad thing. People are like, I
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
conflict. No, no. Conflict is a good
I
thing.
like it.
Yeah.
If you have heard about Innovation Code, that's that's a book on how you turn your conflicts into opportunities, right? So, Constance, the other part of the question I would love to answer is when you know about yourself, know about your surroundings, know about the people working with you, then you can be a leader. You know, a leader is one who does not need any appreciation to work. I'm not saying that he does not need appreciation. Yes, you should appreciate him, but he is not motivated by the appreciation to progress. He
Mm,
is self-driven, like you and me discussed earlier. That there was a drive inside us,
mhm.
So uh, you don't feel good or bad by others' words. What others tell you, don't take it very personally. You take it, you analyze it, but you don't take it very personally, and that does not affect you at all if that's not your matter, or that's not about anything productive to you, right? So I think emotional intelligence and the leadership both are interconnected. If you are not emotionally intelligent, I must say you cannot be a leader, because uh, if you control your emotions and you're armed by your emotions, um, I think you'll flow away.
Yeah, that's true. But when I say conflict is good because it actually uh, provide different innovation. So when you we have a theme, whatever project that we're doing, and you're like, I don't understand or I don't agree, and these are my thoughts. That's technically in itself, in its essence, is a conflict. But conflict that is positive because there's a threshold. When
Yeah,
you feel angry, when you feel someone is putting you down or making you feel different, right? That's when conflict is bad because then it's not productive anymore. But don't think that conflict is a bad thing. It is a good thing because you're agreeing to disagree, but you're doing it respectfully. And empathy, I want to talk about, because you talk a lot about empathy. That just means that, like you said, leaders with emotional intelligence can empathize with their team members, understanding their perspective, like needs and concerns. Let me give you an example. One of my team member might be saying, hey, I have a doctor's appointment, it's emergency after my surgery. I do have a class right now that I have to do, but can you do you think I could come in late, or can you cover it? If I say no, you can't, right, because there's a class, that you're not empathizing that that person is trying
yeah,
their best to move forward. They're a really good teacher, but right now at this moment in their life, something is going on that they need to take care of, right? As a leader, you need to recognize that we're, like you said, we're human, right? We need to make sure that we empathize in every angle, from being a mom, being a dad. They're trying their best, right? It's not actually loss of productivity, because if you're more caring about your people and know their needs, in our human nature, somehow we always feel like, oh my god, she does a lot for me, I'm going to do more for her, without you knowing as a leader that they're doing more for you because you empathize, right? I love that relationship building too, which is great because it builds like more productivity because you're being caring. My third question is, what are the key components of emotional intelligence, and how do you impact decision making in the international business context? Let's talk about culture, because I'm sure that if you go to a different country and your culture is different than theirs, and so how do you find that common ground of even the conversation of emotional intelligence when you're from a different culture?
sure. Okay. First of all, let's talk about the components of emotional intelligence. It is basically, it is a subjective experience. You know, how it develops basically. Um, if you ever did self analysis, I'm sure you have done. Many of the times I put a check on myself, and that check is composed of three things: thoughts, feeling, and emotions. You know, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And once I was just reading and I was just searching how the thoughts come. And I saw these are the subjective experiences. These are the experiences who creates thoughts. As you shared in the early that you used to punch the guys and you were quite very harsh on those people. So harsh on them. So that was as a result of an experience you had undergone earlier, right? So the thoughts come from an experience, and then thoughts travel towards feelings, and then travel feelings travels towards emotions, where you express after physiological, like if there was an incident that you have punched somebody, what he's feeling in the body is your physiological feeling, right? And then what he expresses, sometimes he may have punched you back. So that's the emotional expression, right?
Yeah.
So thoughts, feelings, and emotions, these are the things you can say: experiences moving to thoughts, and then feelings, and then finally turning towards the emotions. So, can you repeat the question, please? Can you show up in the screen? So,
Oh, sure. How does emotional?
okay,
Oh no, that's not the one. This one. Key components of emotional and how they
yeah,
impact decision making. Yeah.
yeah. Of course, of course. If you've seen the people who are very calm, who are very cool in nature, actually, those are emotionally intelligent. Like how they understand the things, they completely analyze, they observe the things, and then they make decisions. If you're not emotionally intelligent, your emotions rule on you. Your emotions lead you in a direction. And if you're emotionally intelligent, you lead your emotions, and you turn your emotions into a productivity. One of my another trainer, once we were discussing that, how emotional intelligent person can turn conflict into productive thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he told me that, emotionally intelligent means that if somebody is speaking harsh to you and he has got a great conflict with you, it is not like that you stop yourself on his or her harsh things. You stop, you control yourself. It is not like, this is not emotional intelligence, this is emotional suppression. There's a
Yeah.
difference between emotional intelligence and emotional suppression. So, and like at the time when you understand the person, when you empathize that maybe he has gone and he has gone through a certain experience, why is he saying this, why is he behaving like this? This is a result of an experience, maybe bad experience. So you start empathizing that person, and then when you start empathizing, you just relax yourself, and then you relax him, then you accept that person, that you are in anger, yeah, you have conflict with me,
Yeah.
then it suddenly, when you accept the things, when you accept the conflict, conflict gets on reduction side, and it
Yeah.
decreases.
Because you
It
better understand each other at that point. You're not like, I think it's the ego too that got into the way
Yeah.
sometimes, like your ego is like, oh, I'm better than you, or, you're telling me what to do. And I think it has something to do with also what's happening in your life. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you're going through things and you're involving yourself on projects that you shouldn't, and it conflicts with the mind or the moment, right? That's why people
Mhm.
see leave in the moment, because it conflicts with what you're trying to do. Your heart is not in it fully, and so you're not paying attention fully. I want to read Natalie. Natalie is this artist. Emotional intelligence to me as a mom and artist means recognizing, understanding, and managing my own emotions and those of others. It involves using my feelings to make thoughtful choices and connecting with people through empathy. I love that.
Wow.
um,
Wow. Really.
I had many conversations with my teenage kids. I would often ask them, are you experiencing emotions that you find difficult to understand? Ooh, that's a great question. It was my way of acknowledging that sometimes we can feel overwhelmed by our emotions, and it's okay to seek understanding and support. Um,
Yeah.
you're such a good mom, because a lot of parents don't even care to ask their questions. I mean,
Ask
that
the
is
questions.
amazing, right? And that's why we see a lot of kids nowadays depressed, having anxiety. They would rather live in their bedroom playing video games than go outside, because they find themselves, much like adults, we find ourselves in social media, the people that vibe with us more than the people in real life,
Yeah.
and it's a sad world that we're living in, that we're actually vibing with people all over the world rather than whoever is in our place. I wanted to also do communication, right? Adaptability. So to me, adaptability is a big thing when it comes to emotional intelligence and
Yeah.
in the international business arena, because culture is a big thing that actually defines your moral belief system and values, and how you interact with other people. So it doesn't matter if you're super intelligent and you have really high IQ, but if you're not in tune with the culture that you're dealing with, you are not going to be successful. What do you think
If
about?
Yeah, of course. The example was leading towards the same thing you said. I can relate to it. I was telling you, when you start sitting with a conflicted person, you start negotiating with him, you start talking to him, then slowly and gradually, you're cooling down his mind and yours as well, and you are moving towards the goal. Now you're turning conflict into constructive thing, into something productive, and finally this type of handling the conflict moves to a good decision, because then you understand the context, as you said. Internationally, in the business, context is very important.
Mm,
Country to country, culture varies, values are different, living lifestyle is different, standards are different, perceptions are different, rituals are different. So, business totally depends on the how the culture is,
yeah.
in what culture you're providing a product or service, how you should take decision for that. And emotionally, to be an emotionally intelligent person, you should also be very empathizing, as I told you earlier. So in understanding the context is a form of empathy. Then you realize what are the needs, what are the gaps there, what product can you go with, how can you offer, maybe different packaging, maybe different branding need is there. So depending on the dynamics of that particular area or that
Yeah.
particular country, or even within the country, um, every city matters, every village matters, so
Yeah.
decision is totally taken, business decisions are totally taken on evidences, on real researches,
Yeah.
how
Well,
on
I'm gonna
yeah.
give you an example that I teach my students when I ask them, "What do you think the difference between moral and ethical standards?" Most of them will say kind of the same. I'm like, kinda. The big difference is, I'm gonna give you an example of it. Moral is your personal beliefs, your
Yeah.
value, how you grow up, how your environment, your culture, right? Ethics is the standards that your organization puts in what is important to you. And that's a human resources thing, because it's a little bit of a human resources
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah.
right? Now, here's another thing. I'm going to ask you as well and what your thoughts are. No right and wrong answers, just more of a matter of a question. So, in America, we have a federal law that we do not have any children basically under the age of 16 and a half, I think 15 in some states, work, right? That's our labor law. We do not employ minors. Okay.
Yeah, that's a child labor, I think.
Yeah, that is federal law. We none of the American
I know.
companies, organizations
Yeah.
that I know of can do that. Now, here's the thing. When you have a manufacturing, okay, we all know this in the world, that China is the biggest manufacturers out there. Okay. I mean, I'm looking at the research for about 20 years now and where they're at. Actually, the GDP, that's another conversation. The GDP
Mm.
gap in 2030 between United States and China is this close. So I don't know where that
Yeah,
goes.
yeah.
But here's the thing. In China, okay, culturally speaking, I think even in some Asian countries, if the child is able to work to help their family, because let's say that they live with the grandparents, the parents are gone, either they're dead or they got abandoned, and their grandparents now cannot work. But this child is 10 years old, able to work, has been working, now wants to work for your manufacturing company, but he's 10. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
Culturally, their moral beliefs is acceptable within that country. However, because we are an American company going to China, we have our own federal law. You can't employ minors.
Mm.
How is that? You see, this is why the advocates group out there like PETA and all the other things scream labor law, labor law. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm in the neutral zone. I'm Asian, so I understand poor. I understand
Mm.
really poor.
Poverty, yeah.
I've seen it. I've grown up in it. Kids
Mm.
eat trash. Okay, don't have
Mm.
slippers all day. But they're happy. By the way, they're smiling all the time.
Mm.
Now, here's the thing: where do you stand? Like, how are you going to tell me that culturally speaking, this is okay with us? Because we need to feed the family. If they don't work, they're not going to get fed. But because this law says here, that's the ethics, right? So now your moral and your ethics are boxing. Like, are you going to win? No, I'm
Mm.
gonna win.
Yeah.
So where do you stand with that? How do you deal with that?
Mm. Yeah, it is very critical. Like China, like Bangladesh, most of the companies in the Bangladesh, they're manufacturing for US companies, US organizations and business organizations. And in Bangladesh, in China, in Asia, you better know that there's a child labor, and that child labor has a different context, as you said. If there's nobody to earn, you know, sometimes even you can see in Pakistan, the women are not allowed to go out to earn if the father is not there. So if the son is 10 or 9 or 8, maybe he's going to earn. So there is a clash between moral and ethics. Yes, it exists. And you and me know that this is the reality. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why the advocates, human rights people are up, the activists are up. But I think if the change at this level, if the policy and the laws and the rules and regulations are not changed, because if you're in American organizations, you're operating in China, and I think if the Chinese prohibit it, that's fine. But still, if the state is supporting that particular family who has nobody to earn, the grandparents are very elder, like you can say, do older, in fact. They cannot earn, and the state should come here and they should support the family to to avoid child labor. So I think there's a big clash. I cannot.
I know. Listen, I teach a lot of economics class. I looked at case studies from Harvard. I get a pulse on Harvard
Yeah.
because they have really great case studies. I want to make sure that today's world, I'm in it, from technology to business to
Yeah,
international
yeah,
business to
HBR, yeah.
military. Like, I study those things. I'm a researcher. I love studying those things. And I'm also writing a book. So I'm looking at all these areas and I'm like, see, my heart is so torn because in Asia, when you grow up in Asia, when you say poor, like poor here, I mean, yes, we have homeless that are living on the beach, but like poor in another country, especially in Asia, it is bad. Like, you see poor, right? And so
Yeah.
when my kids complain, I'm like, dude, you got an iPhone 14. Stop complaining, right? Mom, I need $20 more for what? You know what I mean? Like, that's me. Like, for what? And I
You're
always,
Asian mom.
yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, that is hard for business. Let's be honest. If you're a small business, you're dealing with people here in the US, you wouldn't have to deal with international business. But when it comes to international business, you need to know the culture. You need,
Culture.
you have to act locally, right? You have to act locally, but make sure that you are a global standards. Like that global standards in America, everybody knows that you can't do child labor. It's just not going to happen, right? But that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Mm.
That's my
It's
thing. It's
happening.
like,
Yeah, yeah. One thing I should mention here. In America, um, I think the kids at 7 or 8 or even 6, they're taught how to be entrepreneurs. Am I right?
yeah.
They're taught how to be. So if you prohibit child labor, so why are you teaching them to be entrepreneurs? Is not that a labor? Is not that a job? Is not that a business? So there's also another contradiction, you know.
Yeah. Like babysitting. Oh, I'm 10, I can babysit 5, right?
Mhm.
Or tutoring, I'm 15. Well, that's actually more than 10 years old, but technically the law is like 16 or 15 and a half. I know some states are 15. Some of them do babysitting jobs. Some of do, they're not working for the big organizations, but in your
Yeah,
neighborhood, you'll see they'll do some, trash pickup. They're like 10 years old or 9 years
yeah,
old.
yeah,
Technically, they're
yeah,
working,
yeah.
right? But they're not in a huge labor. I think that's what they're saying. But you really have to think. I'm like, okay, culturally, we're saying this because I know the law is made so that there's more into it. I can't even. We would need another 3 hours.
3 hours to talk on
Yeah,
this.
when it
You know,
comes to labor laws and things like that. And the union is in America is actually also dying, right? Because it's not where it's supposed to be or what's intended to be. There's so many things. But what I do want, oh my God, it's already done. Geez, we can have this conversation, sister. I want to give you the stage to answer this question. If today is your last day on this earth, what would be your message to your future families?
my message to my future family is to help others, to uplift them, uh, do whatever you can, and empower people, uplift others to empower yourself. That's my only message. And do whatever you want, but with a thought, with a cause, and with a purpose. That's the only message I just want to give, because I believe in this. To spread this prosperity in the world, we have to contribute whatever we can. And I cannot tell you how I'm very much concerned about the prosperity of the whole world. I've seen in America, I've seen in big countries where the people have money, where the people have all the luxuries, which some of Asian countries are not having. Those are not happy. They don't have anybody to talk with. They don't have anybody to share a cup of coffee with. They don't have anybody to sit with. So do whatever is the need of others. Uplift them in whatever the area they are lacking and whatever the gaps are. That's how we can make this world prosperous.
Ah, that's so beautiful. My heart is so full. That's what I want to do is to level up the world.
Yeah.
Leveling up doesn't mean just education structured. Leveling up means helping others to have a space. Like you said, there's people out there that's super lonely right now, that they don't know that they can talk to somebody freely because of the fear of judgment, the fear of the less than, the fear of that. And to the core, think about it. When you die, can you bring everything you got? You can't. The only thing that you got is this message. This message, and this is what I love about this platform, is that I want to make sure that people know I'm using my platform for the world to hear that if you can get a hold of me somehow on LinkedIn, please do. Let's do have a coffee chat. I think even Cynthia is here. She reached out to me. She show up for herself and said, "Hey, do you only do mentorship for your African students?" And I said, "No, I do mentorship for everybody." That would be more inclusive, and I love that. I love to learn different cultures. I love to learn other people, and I don't know everything, but I do want to get to know you so we can, as the world, as a collective, we can learn from each other. What do you need help on? A simple thank you, a simple I love you. Your phone call made a difference in my day, Hannah. I just want to tell you, like in person, like seriously, that made a difference. And I didn't feel lonely that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Constant, I want to add in the last.
Sure.
Can I? You know,
Yeah.
I love one thing about you, and I stopped myself sharing at the start. I wanted to share at the last, because you're an example, who turned inferiority complex into an opportunity for others. You start bringing change in the world. You know, I am really amazed how you brought up yourself and how you did contribution in the community. How are you doing this podcast and the lives and everything to empower others? I've seen your passion. I've seen your professional growth and everything, and how you write, how you store the ideas, how you document the ideas for others to learn from those of your experiences, and you turned everything in the opportunity for others. That was my last message, and you did it practically. And I think I'm totally inspired by you only for this, what you made an impact for the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You'll be always in our hearts, whatever you do, wherever you go.
Thank you so much. That is yeah, I'm not gonna cry. You're gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I think it's really nice to feel that even one person tell you, like, I know that I'm trying my hardest and I don't know where it's gonna go, but my intentions and my heart is always, I don't want anybody feeling lonely.
Yeah,
I know how that
I'm with
feels.
you.
Yeah.
I'm with you, and we all are with you. We all love you. We all are together. We all are together. Sometimes, Constance, even you have thousands of people with you. You have bundle of people with you, and still you are alone. I tell you, and still you are alone. So it is not the matter of existence of someone's with you. It is the matter of vibes, connections, and emotions, where you connect. And we
Yeah.
are connected. We are
I'm not
connected.
alone anymore, but I do feel that when I was feeling that moment when I was by myself, it's a hard
Yeah,
place to be.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
But
I'm
thank you for your
sorry,
part.
Constance.
Yeah, I'm so emotional when you said that. I'm like, thank you, because you did touch my heart and you didn't even know me from Adam. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of got that vibe and really got there, and I appreciated that. I have a lot of people that surround me that I know that they love me and care for me. Heck, my dog is always here all the time. To they
He
all, I have
realizes
four
you.
dogs, so they just go crazy right now. They're quiet on the outside because my daughter is in there. But I really appreciated you. I appreciate everyone who was here today, and the replay will also be there. I'm hoping I can get your audio as well out soon, and then we'll go from there. This is not the end. This is only the beginning of
Yeah,
collaboration, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Of
thank you so
course.
much, everybody. Thanks, Natalie. Oh, Natalie's like, great conversation. Thank you,
Thank you.
Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.